What's going on, YouTube world? Welcome back to A Little Bit Mad Gaming, bringing you a review for WandaVision, the final episode, episode 9, titled "The Series Final." First things first, if you could hit that like, subscribe, share, and the notification button, and also leave a comment down below what you thought of this episode, what you think, what you didn't like, what you did like. Did you like the Easter eggs, and overall, did you like the show as a whole? We also got to go 100 subscribers, so those who are not subscribe, like, share, all those great things I just said before. And those who are subscribed, continue doing what you're doing. I appreciate you, love you. Just like, share. So, with that being said, with all that out the way, let me give you a synopsis on what this episode was about. So the series final, which is the name of episode 9, WandaVision, the events of WandaVision come to a head, and the destinies of all who took part are determined. Now, what that basically is a bleak. It don't really give you a lot into it, but it was a lot that happened here. The previously on, like I said, previously on gives you like a whole flashback of what happened in the last episode, and this episode picks up pretty much from there with Wanda still getting ready to face off with Agnes. We also get a glimpse of White Vision, and for those who don't know, White Vision is just similar to like what happened on Avengers Endgame. White Vision ended up dying and when he was brought back, he became White Vision. But it was like he wasn't like the true 100% Vision. And then another Vision would end up fusing with White Vision to remake itself into the whole Vision again, which is like what it was going to be getting set up for. But for the most part, White Vision was kind of played one of the antagonists of the antagonists. She still had the children. She still had the children hostage until Wanda got them back, and Agnes and Wanda began fighting. And we find out what Agnes want from Wanda. She didn't just want to see how Wanda created the hex. She also want Wanda's power. Because Wanda is the prophesized, scarlet witch, a witch who doesn't need a coven, doesn't need incantations. She could just use spells at will without having to use incantations and all that type of stuff. And she wants that power for herself. So from what I gather from watching episode 1 to 9, Agatha Harkness, at least in the MCU, is more of a villain. She's not, because she didn't have she wasn't portrayed as just a caretaker and a mentor to Wanda in the actual dark arts or in the arts itself of magic. But we did get a mention of Doctor Strange because she was reading from the Dark Hole, which from researching, the Dark Hole appeared in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Runaways, but it looked different in both of those shows. And the Dark Hole that appears in WandaVision is, like I said, different from those two shows. So from what I'm hearing, that means that the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Runaways are not connected to the MCU because the book of the Dark Hole doesn't look like the ones that appeared in that show. But she did mention when she was reading from the book, she read from the book to Wanda about what the Scarlet Witch is and how powerful she is, and that she was even more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme, which is a shout out to Doctor Strange. And one of the setups that we hear, one of the many setups to Doctor Strange, though throughout the episode, as you heard, if you read anything about WandaVision, this is supposed to set up not only Captain Marvel 2, but Doctor Strange 2 in the Multiverse of Madness. And the whole thing was like, once watching these episodes, it was like how Marvel usually do, was really no actual like, oh, I can see how Doctor Strange fits in this. Oh, there go Doctor Strange. So now we're gonna see how this, it wasn't nothing like that. But we do get some call outs to Doctor Strange, and we get a little subtle, hints and stuff how she's gonna fit into that, and what her role will be in Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, because we know this leads. This one of the reasons why we know this leads into that, because the next time we see Wanda after the whole WandaVision, fiasco, she will be appearing in the new Doctor Strange movie. But yeah, so we got a little callback to like the Wizard of Oz, with Wanda hitting Agatha with a car, and similar to how the house crushed the witch and the Wizard of Oz, and all you can see is her boots. Like, we got a little call to that when Wanda hits Agatha with the car, and all you see is her boots. And Wanda, Agatha taunts Wanda about how she's supposed to be an Avenger and a hero, yet she got people trapped in the city, and Wanda trying to convince herself, not only herself but the people in the city, that she's helped them, she's protected them, and that what she did with the Hex was meant for the betterment of them. But the people are telling her, thanks to Agatha, using her powers to free them and wake them up from Wanda's spell. They telling Wanda that even though what she said she did, she protected them, she did this to better them. They telling her that being under her control is like it was torturous, almost to the point where it was either they wanted to be free, like to leave the city and to leave, or they wanted to die. They wanted her to kill them if need be, because they was in so much pain for being mind controlled by Wanda. And Agatha, taunting her, saying, "Look, heroes don't torture people; they save people." And in doing so, Wanda would lift the barrier, because she was being overwhelmed by the guilt of having them trapped. Wanda, she was taunting Wanda basically about how heroes do not torture. So Wanda had to use her powers, because they was overwhelming her. They was overwhelming her because they kept asking her, like, even the boys, like her one son that got the powers like her. He saw it in the future that they was going to be overwhelming her, and she was going to break down, and her power was going to flow out of her. But then it ends there, and then he's like, we got to go get the mom. And then we see that scene actually plays out with Wanda, thanks to Agatha. Everybody's basically coming towards her. They begging her to either to free them, or to kill them so that they would be free. We found out too, like the kids. The reason why we don't see the kids is because Wanda got all the kids locked up in they rooms or something. They can't even leave their rooms, because we see the one lady again from one of the previous episodes that was in when they was back in the TV sitcom, and we see that Wanda. We get to meet the real her, and then she tells her that she just want to see her kid, and that maybe she could unlock the door so her kid could come out the room. And we find out that all the kids and the rest was like almost locked up in their rooms for some reason. And Wanda did this all subconsciously too, because it's shown that when she created Rescue, she immersed herself to hide from her grief. She immersed herself into the Westview anomaly, to the point where she couldn't remember who she really was, because she didn't want to be that person no more. She wanted to be the people in the sitcoms, because they always have a happy ending and stuff. There's never no trauma and stuff. But she breaks down because everybody surrounding her, overwhelming her, and we see how that full scene plays out with the powers overflowing them. It's like the powers that came out of her. It flowed into onto the people's necks, like almost like a choker, and it was choking them, and they was falling to the ground. Also, before I continue on for that bit, I forgot to mention that we're in the middle of Wanda and Agatha fighting, where Wanda was hitting her with her magical blast. Agatha was like siphoning the power from her, and Wanda noticed that when instead of hurting Agatha, it was siphoning her powers, and her hands started to become decayed, like almost like she was decaying into a withered old husk. And she realized her hand was slowly decaying, turning gray. And I just wanted to mention that because it happens more and more throughout the episode as they fighting. But yeah, Agatha and once the kids get there to try to help her, she realized that what she's doing, that she needs to stop, and she's like, no, this is not what I want. I don't want this. I want this, and she stopped the spell the spell that was like choking them. She stops it, and Agatha still talking her about heroes don't torture or whatnot. That's when she opens up the hex to allow people to escape from Westview. A big energy surge out of her, and that's what happens. And then she realized that she confirms Agatha's theory that in doing so, and opening up the hex, Vision and her kids start to deteriorate, and like they look like puzzle pieces almost breaking apart. And Agatha, I couldn't say her name for a minute. Agatha confirmed that when Wanda created the place and created Vision and the children, they are tied to the hex. Therefore, if she destroys the hex or open up the hex in any way, they would start to deteriorate and fade. So she to protect them, she closed the hex. She also got attacked early on by White Vision because she saw when White Vision came to her, he came up to her like he was still Vision almost and said, Wanda. Like he usually do. He went, Wanda. Caressing her hair. And then he took his other hand like this, still caressing. And then all of a sudden you heard like, and she's like, ah. And he stopped picking her up. He said, Wanda, you must be destroyed. And you realize he was like emotionless. He wasn't like the Vision that everybody knew. So, that's when the real Vision came and started fighting with White Vision, and they basically while the kids and Wanda dealt with Agatha, Vision fought with White Vision to the point where him and White Vision had like this little discussion about it was like an analogy about the boat. I guess basically it was a reference to both of them, like basically in layman's terms, it was basically about putting how much you could put a boat together from being broken, but is it still the original boat? And neither is this other version. Is this still the boat or a different version himself? Which came into the terms that they both figured that they're both Vision, but they both different parts. Their original Vision, like White Vision, he stops the fight because he wanted to know. White Vision stopped the fight because he wanted to know what Vision meant, and what he meant was that no matter how much they put you together, you're not 100% the original Vision, and no matter what I am that Wanda made me, I'm also not the original Vision. But that we are both two parts of the same whole, and that you're still somewhere in you, you're still Vision. And Vision would try to touch his head, but White Vision was like hesitant. But then he said, I don't mean you no harm. I'm just trying to release your memories that they try to keep from you. And he touched White Vision's forehead, and White Vision would get a flash of all the events that he's experienced since becoming from his creation in Age of Ultron, fighting Ultron, PHO's death, the events of Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame. and up until this point, which White Vision's eyes went from being like the distorted, motionless blue electricity like eyes to his normal eyes, and he realized he is Vision, and also Vision was implying that it's the humanity, also the humanity part in him is not there. So like for him, he wanted to that White Vision know that he could still be the original Vision. He just got to find his humanity and relearn himself again to become the Vision that he once was. But when White Vision, relearned who he is, he basically said, "I am Vision," and flew off and now having the memories of the past events. Wanda and the battle with Agatha and Wanda came to a head, and Wanda ended up beating Agatha using her own tricks against her. And one of the previous episodes, she realized that when she was in the basement with Agatha, she couldn't use her powers because I hate saying her name. Agatha Harkness basically told her that the hexes and stuff on the walls was to prevent anybody but the spellcaster to use their powers, and Wanda ended up using that on Agatha. And a nice little almost like callback into the first Incredible Hulk movie where he was like, "If you want my power here, take it all." She kind of did do something. She kind of say she doesn't say while she does say, "Do you want my power? Then take it." She doesn't say take it all, but she said that take it, and she feeds her, and this is what leads in her to almost becoming a wither husk. But we found out that she used Agatha's trick against her, where she couldn't, even though she had all of Wanda's powers, she couldn't use it against Wanda. And then Wanda ended up taking all the powers back, becoming, fully becoming the Scarlet Witch. And then she would, while in the midst of doing that, fully becoming the Scarlet Witch, she would finally have like the full Scarlet Witch costume, complete with the crown and all. And this is in one of the episodes we found out this was shown to Wanda when she came in contact with the Mind Stone. It showed her the future that she would eventually become the Scarlet Witch, and then we see that she beats Agatha and condemns her to the fate that she pretended to be, but now it's for real. That because we found out that Agatha couldn't be controlled by Wanda, but now because she doesn't have the necessary powers to prevent being controlled by Wanda, Agatha was confined to the nosy neighbor, Agnes, and it was a great episode. I loved it. 10 out of 10. Big ups. There are two post credit scenes. There's a mid credit and a post credit scene, and the mid credit pretty much sets up a one movie, and the post credit scene sets up another movie. So both the mid and post sets up two different movies. Oh yeah, they had Wanda end up lifting. She left Westview. She lifted the hex, stuff like that happened. But I won't go into detail about it because what happens is something that you need to see because I don't want to spoil it. But I will say she did lift the hex and freed everybody. Like I said, 10 out of 10. Big ups. That's all I got. I thoroughly enjoyed watching WandaVision. I can't wait to see what they got more coming, because I know the next show to come out now is the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So I can't wait to see what that's going to be, because if it's anything like this, it's going to be absolutely gold and good. But that's it. That's all I got. Hit this button. I can't point, but hit this button right here for more reviews. Hit this to subscribe, and click on any of the videos in the screen to just get more of my content. To enjoy more of my content, just like, share. So if you're not subscribed, remember, hit that button right here and subscribe. To the next one. Peace out. I hate that, but peace.